I just didn't look right, and so they immediately checked for a pulse, and they couldn't feel pulse. And so that's when they started doing CPR basically right away. Um,
And so these guys just happened to be in the race. They just happened to be behind you.
yeah, they're avid people in the ski mountaineering community up there, and the outdoor community up there, and yeah, I just got lucky, I guess, and you couldn't have three better people behind you, and
Oh my
when something
gosh.
like that happens,
No kidding.
having those guys there is it's hard to write a better story for what happened to me,
Wow.
having them right there. So
And then they started CPR right away.
yeah, so they started doing CPR. They were checking for my pulse in like a number of different locations. They're checking in all the standard locations that you would get a pulse, and they didn't find anything. And so yeah, they started CPR immediately. And then somebody yelled to another race participant to go down and get ski patrol and alert them to bring a defibrillator and toboggan up to me. And so then I think it was around 20 minutes or so. Or I don't know. The time frame is a little bit hard for me to figure out, but so a ski toboggan eventually got up to me, and an AED got to me. And that might have been about 20 minutes after me falling over. And so they put the defibrillator on me. They attempted a shock, and it didn't work.
Just one shock?
Yeah, and it didn't advise another shock. So
okay.
All you can really do with those machines is you put things on and do what the machine tells you to do. And if it advises a shock, it does one. If it doesn't advise another shock, it doesn't attempt another one. So they continued doing CPR, and that's kind of when the whole heroic process of just continuing the CPR as I'm taking down the ski runs on the ski toboggan to the bottom of the mountain.
So they continued CPR while you were riding down on toboggan.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just
insane.
It's just an unbelievable amount of effort, that they put into being, it's such physical work doing CPR. Doing it for 5 minutes is like backbreaking enough, and to think that these people were doing that for 40 minutes, taking me down the mountain, and Peter at one point got bucked off the ski toboggan, I'm told. And like, I think there was two of them on the ski toboggan at one time. They were kind of rotating through doing chest compressions and things like that. And Pete eventually, like at one point, got bucked off of the ski toboggan when he was doing chest compressions, because it's like they were taking me down. Like I'm still going down these berms and like these uphill rises and downhills. And yeah, Pete eventually got bucked off at one point, and Tyler did like a running jump and jumped on the ski toboggan and continued doing chest compressions.
Whoa.
It's just like a pretty crazy visual of like, yeah, how much of a battle it was for them, and how much effort they really put into me.
Yeah.
It's just incredible.
Wow. I'm guessing you've talked to them since then. Where were their heads at this point? Were things looking pretty grim?
I think at that point, they were just doing everything they possibly could. They weren't really necessarily thinking about the outcome. They just wanted to get me in an ambulance, and get me to some type of better care. So, they were just trying to do anything they possibly could to, luckily, everybody who does this type of stuff is extremely fit. So, it was extremely draining for them, but, it's like doing a race in and of itself, just trying to do CPR compression. So they were extremely fit and able to continue doing quality CPR compressions during all that time.
Yeah. Well, you know, in a lot of ways, that's what we train for. Is we're training for life. We're training for situations. If something happens in the mountains and you got to carry somebody out of there, you know, it's like, you'd hate for that to happen, but it's like in the back of your head, like, I'm probably fit enough. You give me a little bit of adrenaline and I can probably do something like that. But
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
unreal.